Hamza? Hamza's claimed he's natural all this time.
The protocol that I've always been on is 150 milligrams of testosterone per week.
No, I'm not going to apologize to you as you asked me to do in that DM on Instagram. Coach Greg, and I've had it with Hamza. Every time he posts a video, it seems like he then deletes it. I mean, is he becoming the new Mike Israetel? Is he deleting it because it isn't the first draft? Does he not like what he's doing? Why can't he just leave the videos that he posts? This time, I downloaded the video. I said, you know what? He's going to delete this video, and that he did. And so that's the video we're going over. It's called My Experiment Injecting Testosterone for 1.5 Years. This is from a guy who was 100% natural. What? If it had been 1.5 weeks or maybe even 1.5 months, I could say, well, he was about to come clean. He was about to tell his audience what he'd been doing all along. But after 1.5 years and only admitting it because his former best friend had outed him, well, this is one of the worst YouTubers out there. Having scammed you for years, go look at the titles. I believe there were 5 or 6 videos alone explaining how to boost your testosterone, and one of which was only posted a month ago. Nowhere did he say, you know, go to your HRT clinic, go buy some testosterone, inject 150 milligrams a week. Nowhere did he say that. Let's just get right into it so you can see what he says, and I'm going to show you that he doesn't know anything about testosterone.
Jeffrey wakes up without morning wood. Could it be your diet, Jeffrey? Could it be your lifestyle, Jeffrey?
I wake up without morning wood every single day. Maybe once a year, I wake up with morning wood. Last I checked, I'm not natural. I'm on HRT 140 milligrams a week, and if you think that I'm sitting here lying about not having morning wood, why would I lie? If I get up and have morning wood every single day, I would tell you. Now, when I was a teenager, I remember that. When I was in my 20s, sometimes, and in my 30s and beyond, it never happened. Just because you don't have morning wood doesn't mean you need HRT, doesn't mean you need enclomiphene, doesn't mean you need to go to Algorex and get your blood work. I mean, you can if you want, but you don't need medication just because you don't wake up hard. If you're trying to get your blood work, you're trying to get enclomiphene, you're trying to get HRT, peptides, and so on. Remember, all 100% legal from a doctor, pharmaceutical medications, and it's prescribed to you at significantly lower prices than, for example, Merrick Health. Please go shop at Merrick Health first, and then when you see the cheaper prices, you'll know what to do. So if you're interested, code Greg, 10% off. Remember, I liked it so much, I became a part owner.
No, it's my genetics. Yeah, it's your genetics that are making you eat Doritos and pink Lucozade lemonade.
I don't not have morning wood because I don't eat Doritos. And yeah, it's basically your genetics. Waking up with something hard doesn't make you a better person than waking up with something soft. In fact, it was so annoying getting up and trying to use the bathroom every single morning and you have to like bend forward. I don't know about you guys, but my suspensory ligament, it's stronger than last time. I would have to bend over so far like this trying to go to the bathroom in the morning. And so for me, it wasn't a bonus. It's not something that I wanted.
Adonis wakes up with morning steel.
No, Adonis doesn't need to wake up with morning steel. Perhaps he wakes up with morning steel because he hasn't had a throat goat in ages. If you're satisfied every single day, multiple times a day, hey, you get the right throat goat, things can happen.
Yeah, boy.
Adonis, oh, I'm always hard. Hey, I'm all for training harder than last time, but I don't think you should always be hard.
Oh no, Greg Doucette's making a video about him.
So Adonis doesn't... So Hamza's claimed he's natural all this time.
I mean, is that the proper way to respond? You could have said, yeah, you know, Coach Greg made a video about me. It's true. You know, I should have came clean earlier. I should have told you about 1.5 years ago, but I lied. I'm Hamza. Hard for me to explain this to you, but you know what? I lied, and so I'm going to come clean and explain to you the 1.5 year steroid cycle that I went on. Rather than trying to make it look like I'm doing something wrong by calling him out, by giving you the facts, the truth.
In this video, I'm gonna talk to you about something quite unconventional that I've done, which I researched for years. I did it safely with medical professionals.
Do you know how many times he conflicts what he says prior to this? I believe he keeps deleting videos because he says one thing and then changes the narrative after that. It reminds me of Mr. Mike.
Lying is easy as hell. I can do it at the drop of a hat.
He says one thing, changes it the next. The people say something and he changes his story. Oh, it wasn't the first draft. Oh, it was the first draft. Oh, it's a great critique. No, it's not a good critique. You can critique me. Don't critique me.
Technically, I submitted the wrong draft to the graduate school.
Hamza's saying that he researched this for years, medical staff and so on. Yet in previous videos, he says, you know, I wanted to use this for ages so that I would understand it because I didn't know enough about it. I wanted to wait until I've been on it for ages to really understand what it's like. So if I do speak about it, I can come from a great place of actually knowing the pros and cons. I wanted to become more educated. You've been researching this for years and you still don't know anything about it. And even in watching this video, I can still see that you don't know anything about it. And that 1 hour and 37-minute video that you posted about the superhuman protocol, you still don't know what you're talking about. And I will show you with evidence.
I'm just gonna tell you my experience with this experiment, but that doesn't mean that you should copy me.
And so what is this channel all about? He teaches teenagers who don't know any better that you can look like this guy without using testosterone. Just listen to him, but don't do what he does. You know, he uses testosterone to build his muscles, but he's going to tell you to take cold showers and journal write and meditate.
And if you're one of my followers and you're a little bit older, like mid-20s or 30s, you can click on a link that will appear right now, which is the full superhuman body protocol. I've posted it to my advanced channel.
Mid-20s and or 30s is not old enough to just suddenly jump on HRT when your testosterone levels are already higher than last time. This guy, I already watched it. You've seen the proof. His testosterone levels were already above the reference range. Now, there's something known as free testosterone and total testosterone. His total testosterone, at one point in life, it was in the 300s, 400s. Somewhere in the normal range, normal for most people. Later, his testosterone levels were in the 700s, but the active part of the testosterone, the free testosterone, it was literally above the reference range. It was almost at 18. He clearly was not suppressed from testosterone. He was at perhaps the top 2% of men. And so he absolutely did not need HRT. For all intents and purposes, his testosterone was goals. He already had it. And so what did he want to do? He wanted to use steroids. Testosterone is a steroid, and he wanted to do so at doses that were high enough, but not too high so that he could get away with it. If he hopped on 500 milligrams of test, 500 milligrams of tren, and put on 10 to 15 kilograms, or maybe 20 to 30 pounds of muscle, everyone would have called him out. Look at Hamza, he's a fake natty. But by keeping the doses low enough, you know, somewhere in that 150 to 200 milligrams per week range, he was able to a little bit more slowly to put on muscle and make it look like it was his amazing techniques that caused him to build all this muscle. People were starting to call him out. Look at his physique now in comparison to years ago. But people wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Notice, there was no video from Coach Greg calling him out. Do you not think that if he had put on 20 pounds of muscle in 6 months, that I would have made a natty or not video and said, why is it suddenly that after, 8 years of training, he suddenly put on 20 pounds of muscle? It doesn't make sense. He must have hopped on.
So I had actually improved my testosterone for years. I did the basics like try and improve your sleep and go to the gym, lift heavy weights, get out into sunlight, eat clean. And I felt pretty good.
If he felt so great, so dandy, why did he go on test? What do I say about using performance-enhancing drugs, PDs, and so on? The lowest dose that makes you happy. And so clearly, by default, bro wasn't happy. He wasn't, despite the fact that his testosterone levels were higher than 98% of the population.
But with our generation, we've had a special handicap, which is the endocrine warfare that we all live in. Men today have microplastics inside of their testicles.
All right, let's go with that. Let's give him that. Yeah, we've all got these microplastics that reduce testosterone. He doesn't. His testosterone levels were higher than mine. How are the microplastics affecting him? He's still in the top 2% of men. And so that excuse is null and void. If he had said, hey, I went and got my testosterone levels checked and they were at 133 nanograms per deciliter, I think that perhaps I had some kind of microplastics in my body and I just don't feel good. But that's not true. And so regardless of your beliefs on microplastics and so on, what he's stating is demonstrably false.
And then there was one other thing that affected me, and it actually affects like 10 to 20% of guys. And it was a medical condition called varicocele.
For varicocele, the first line of defense is not TRT, it's varicoelectomy. That you did not get. And so if you're actually suffering from this, why did the doctor not do specifically what they're supposed to do in order to help you? Is it maybe because you're making this shit up, that you're inventing a story? TRT is not the cure for what you have. If this disorder were actually present, why are his testosterone levels way above average? It would be like Shaquille O'Neal. You guys know this guy. He's 7'2". If he said, you know what? I'm on growth hormone because I suffer from dwarfism. And so you suffer from dwarfism. And so you were given growth hormone to make you grow taller. How does this make any sense? It doesn't. But like Mike Israetel, following the story, you then backtrack and try to come up with a story that's plausible. You know, not necessarily 100% possible, but it's possible, maybe 1 in a million chance. That is what you're doing. And so what they would have done, if you would have had outward signs or problems, lower levels of testosterone, they would have done a simple surgery. They would have corrected it. Hey, if your teeth are straight, they oftentimes will give you braces. They don't simply remove all the teeth from your mouth. Is possibly having children something that's important for you? Did Hamza not say at one point that he wanted to have a family? If you start using testosterone replacement therapy, using testosterone, it can for some people make it much more difficult to have children. It can make some people infertile, as opposed to if they perform the surgery, it would increase your likelihood of having children. And so when you describe that you suffer from this illness, this disease, whatever, varicocele, understand that corrective surgery would not only solve the problem, but have you more fertile versus if a doctor gives you TRT, it's going to do the exact opposite. And so which option makes sense? But in reality, your balls are working. They're working. And so either option makes no sense. As you watch this video, do you understand that you lose? You are wrong. You are lying. And no, I'm not going to apologize to you as you asked me to do in that DM on Instagram.
And so after being into fitness and self-improvement and increasing my testosterone levels naturally for years and years and years and doing a lot of research, I wanted to experiment with injecting testosterone.
Why doesn't he just start with that? You know what? After training natural for over 5 years, I just felt like hopping on. I wanted to do a steroid cycle. You know, I've been training natural my whole life. I saw other amazing physiques online that I was jealous of. For example, Coach Greg. I'm not going to lie, I was jealous of Coach Greg. I wanted the physique as impressive as that.
And so I started my experiment injecting testosterone in February last year. I didn't mention it publicly because one, I didn't know what it was going to be like, if it was going to work.
And so if it didn't work, you would have what, kept it silent? Wouldn't it make more sense to announce to the world, hey everyone, I'm going to hop on TRT and I'm going to be there every step of the way. Every month I'm going to give you a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day update to show you whether it works or not. If it didn't work, people want to know, isn't that content that you would want to hear? But no, I'm going to gatekeep and keep it all secret for a year and a half until I'm outed.
It seems to be the case that this is something you need to do for months or even years to get a full understanding of the pros and cons. And so I wanted to come at it with a ton of experience first.
You can understand the pros and the cons without doing it. You can watch my videos. I explain them. I've done so many videos. Just start Googling, research, watch.
And I wanted to be careful because I have a large audience. I have a lot of followers who are teenagers and some of which would undoubtedly consider hopping on just because I've been like hyping it up and saying that it's been really life-changing for me.
What are you doing right now? I mean, I don't understand. I have a lot of teenagers, and so I couldn't describe open, honest, and transparent about testosterone because some people would listen to me. Can't you say, hey, testosterone did this, but I don't recommend it because here are the negative side effects. I'm on this for life. My blood pressure has gone up. My HDL cholesterol has gone down. I'm perhaps taking years off my life. Hey, I didn't know this would happen, but I can't have children. Do you really think that lying about it is better? Hey guys, look how much bigger I am and I'm not on test. Look. Meditate. How is that better? Why do these influencers think that by lying to their audience, saying, hey, I got this amazing physique without testosterone, even though they didn't, how does that help? Then people will go and look at Hamza and say, well, how come he did so good? He's clearly natural, but I can't do it. I guess I have to hop on. I mean, he did it natural. Look at him. No problem. But for me, I need it. That's more likely going to happen.
Recently, an old friend of mine made a joke that I was on steroids, and then a lot of people started to ask me if I actually was. And I thought, I'm gonna lie to people. If so many people are interested, now I'll talk about it all.
And so because he made a joke that he was on steroids, he said, you know what? I better come clean and tell people that I'm on steroids. Well, that's what's happened. I don't understand the difference. You can preface it by saying I'm on lower doses of steroids. I'm not blasting hella gear, but I am on performance-enhancing drugs.
The protocol that I've always been on is 150 milligrams of testosterone per week.
Lies? We're going to just take his word now that that's the exact amount that he's always been on. Even if I didn't have the proof that he's been on more, would you just automatically believe him a year and a half later? Where's the blood work? Why doesn't he show us all of the blood work? Why is this not in the video? Hey guys, I've been on testosterone for a year and a half. I've had blood work 5 times. Here's my blood work. But no, that is not the case. He doesn't show us all the blood work. And how do we know he hasn't been on testosterone for 5 years? At 100 milligrams and just recently upped it to 200 after lowering it to 150 and going on it for 500. We don't know. How can we take his word? Superhuman body protocol, injecting testosterone, peptides, and other crazy experiments. All right, so he's not just on tests, he's on peptides and other crazy shit.
About a month or two, my testosterone level was just above 1,500 nanograms per deciliter. I think actually the first one was even higher than that. It was like 1.8K or something.
The truth is, he started at a higher dose than 150, probably 200. And what happened was his testosterone levels were 1,800 nanograms per deciliter. His goal was only to be at 1,500, you know, about double what he was, you know, 500 more than the top of the reference range. But hey, he wanted to be superhuman. He's pretty sure that's TRT though, right? You know, this was prescribed by a doctor, he's saying, right? And he's pretty sure it's TRT, but he's not sure. And he's been doing it for a year and a half with a doctor. And so he's not sure what drug protocol that he's on, which was prescribed from a doctor. Wouldn't you know? If I went to the doctor and I was sick and they gave me medication, I would be pretty sure this is medication for when I'm sick. And so if I went to an HRT clinic and they prescribed me HRT, I would be pretty sure that what I'm taking is HRT. Why is he questioning that? Why is he unsure? What happened was his testosterone was too high, 1,800, and he wanted to be at 1,500, and he lowered the dose back down to 150. I've always been on 150. Have you really? Why not just say, you know what? I started at 200. My testosterone levels were at 1,800, which is significantly high. I mean, it's way too high. And here's the blood work. You see the 1,800? But what I didn't like was that my HDL was in the toilet. My LDL was up. Perhaps my liver enzymes were off. I didn't like my red blood cell count being that high. I didn't want to have to bloodlet or to donate blood. And so I ended up lowering the dose to 150. And then I was at 1,500. And although my HDL is still a little bit low, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the risk because, you know, I want to be an Adonis. Why doesn't he show the blood work? And why doesn't he say what he truly was taking? Why does he have to continuously cover it up? And what will he do next? He'll watch this video and then change his story yet again? No, Greg, I didn't say this. I want you to apologize.